Thank you, everybody, joining the live. This is the Entrepreneurs Chat. We're just a group of entrepreneurs meeting every weekday between 8 and 9 to just discuss different aspects of entrepreneurship. So that's Monday to Friday. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. If you're back again, thank you for your support, family. So, guys, today, super excited. So, today we are going to be talking about, with Coach Dineo, doing a review of the Alchemist book club, focusing on, letting go of regret, amongst other issues as well. So, man, yesterday we had an exciting conversation, with regards to winning in the baking industry with Captain B. So I'm actually, by the time this live ends, that's gonna be on YouTube. So I'm gonna post the link on our WhatsApp group. So guys, if you're not part of that WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group. Success Inspiration. The link is in the bio so that you know when we go live, who we go live with, the different topics that we're talking about. And you don't need to worry about a lot of people posting because only admins can post, and it's usually announcements. So I'm going to post the link to that discussion we had around the baking industry. Captain B is quite knowledgeable from issues of how to get equipment, the market, dealing with employees, how to scale up your operation, the different types of baking, industries, confectionery, bread, and the like. So, man, I know a lot of people are gifted in baking. You want to get some tips in terms of how you can actually scale it up. I think we had one gentleman who's saying that, he's supplying spaza shops, with scones, and he's really looking to scale up from the conversation that we had yesterday. So, man, guys, I mean, if that's your passion, man, and any other things, you catch up, join the WhatsApp group. I'm gonna post the link to that live. So I'm gonna post it on YouTube. Uh, so yeah, you can get it there. Coach Dineo, how you doing? How you doing? Getting ready there.
Hi,
So
Henry.
good. So
Hi.
good.
I'm still on.
Good.
I'm still fighting with this flu, but I think I'm on
Oh,
the winning side this week.
we thank God. We thank God, man. Yes, Lenuza, how you doing? How you doing? So you see where thank you for the follow. So yeah, I think let's get into the business of today. Um, so yes, still continuing on the Alchemist. What sort of stuff are we gonna touch on today?
We're going to touch on. Bye, son. Thank you. We're going
Yeah.
to we're going to touch on letting go, a little bit about leadership quality,
Mm-hmm.
and just the caravan, because now the crystal merchant is left behind. He's joined the caravan, he's decided he's going to Egypt, and just then, now you are going, you know, head first with your dreams. You are starting out, you are on the journey to arrive there. It is the beginning days, and or the beginning days of your business. What's your plan? What does that look like when you are on your this new path? Okay, so yeah, so it's letting go, the power of letting go and having no regrets, leadership, and if we have time, we'll touch on the master's work. So yeah, so it's we see here that the leader of the caravan, for me, when I said leadership qualities, the leader of the caravan said to them, listen, this is who I am, this is what I believe in. Let everyone who believes in the God that they serve, um, let them be led by that. So what I wanted to pick out with that is that as a leader, and it may not be belief system per se, although that also counts. So whether it's belief systems in the sense that your religious or spiritual observations and your customs, right? It is to be a great leader, it is imperative to know where you stand as a leader and to respect and acknowledge other people instead of vilifying. If you want to lead people and you want them to listen to what your direction, there has to be some form of respectfully acknowledging, even if you don't agree. Because if you're going to rubbish my way of living, if you're going to rubbish my belief system, if you're going to rubbish my culture, if you're going to rubbish my language and say that, you know, you belong in this tribe and the people in this tribe are lazy or they are whatever, if you're going to come up as a leader, and I think we need to be very careful when we say that also on social media, when we buy in and when we like and perpetuate these stereotypes about anyone. We need to be very careful because the person who's going to promote you, the person who's going to be your next customer, the person who whom you might help. Let's forget about something for you. You might have something that can help somebody, but because
Mm.
you lack the the mindset to respect people where they are, you will not be approachable or they will not approach you, and when you try to approach them, because of what you've said, you've just canceled yourself. Talk about cancel culture. That's a good way to cancel yourself if you're going to stick to stereotypes and disrespect people. So a good way to move forward is to understand that, listen, if you want to get through to people, you do not have to agree with them. But but you do have to respect people's uh not personality, their way of life, even though you disagree. You can disagree with someone's way of life and just leave it at that. Acknowledge it and say, I understand there's this, there's that, there's this, but as a leader, this is where I am and this is where we are going. These are the dangers that we are going to see in the desert. And in the desert, if you are uncertain, uncertainty means death. I think that's what he said also. And so, in order for people to hear that, to have an ear to the wisdom that you have, or the business that you have, or the service that the solution that you give them, there's a certain way of just acknowledging that this is where you are, this is where I am, and leaving it at that.
Mm. No, I mean that's so true. That's so true. I think the bottom line is, we need to see, are we trying to achieve,
Yeah.
uh, and um, and I think that issue of just tolerance, respect, I think it goes a long way in whatever you're trying to do. I think if you're trying to lead anyone, I think leadership is about influence. You lead
Mm,
via influence. You lead via
mm,
inspiration. That's how you lead. People should want to follow you, and it can't cut it. If you just want to lead by title, yeah, I'm the leader, so follow me. I mean, that will only take you so far. And I think what's very important is that, you know, when you are connecting with people, I mean, I have, a person I recently connected with, in terms of our religious, what we believe in, it's totally different. But we've got a middle ground where we link up at the gym, we train together, we do
yeah,
this, and it's a good
yeah,
time, you know.
yeah, yeah,
I think I caught on to, okay, this is what he believes in just a conversation, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And that was that. I didn't, it was gonna help me to like fight. No, what you're saying, that doesn't help.
yeah, yeah.
That's why we're there to the gym. We've met in the gym, and that's what we're
Mm,
doing. Gym bros, and that's it.
mm,
You know, and you know what? To be honest with you, the only way that you can um sort of, I think, always be open, or always create the right environment for you to actually help someone, right?
mm,
Always create that environment. What that means is that there are certain things that you might do or say that's going to prevent people from actually coming to you for help.
yes,
So
yes,
already you're creating this barrier. And I mean, this guy, I just met him. I've got no business talking to him about his religion or his beliefs. It's
yeah.
got nothing to do with the squats that we do in the gym. It's got nothing to do with it,
Uh-huh.
right?
That,
We
yeah,
just linked up a few, you know, weeks ago, right? We've
100.
just been meeting, saying hi, bye, whatever. It's like, okay, what are you training today and whatever. So you
Yeah.
also need to know there are some times where you don't have that equity for you to speak in someone's life.
Mm.
You need to
Mm.
understand that.
You
We
need to be
don't have,
divided.
you just don't, no one is endowed with equity to just come up and then you want to speak up into someone's life. You don't. You first create a relationship. You
Yes.
show people that you care. And I can't have relationships whereby all I'm thinking about is to change your religion. Like that can't be the relationships that I have. Like the relationships that we have is to show you that, hey man, I love you, I care about you as a person. If you've got any problem, I'm here to assist. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I think, should be our sort of approach.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. I think so too. Really, we should look at that. Let's really be careful, guys. These stereotypes and sometimes even these jokes that, I mean, I joke around a lot on TikTok, but there's some jokes that I just like, nope, nope. Somebody might need to hear the message that I'm saying, and if I co-sign on this, I've just lost them. Or somebody might be my client and belong to this group that we're making fun of. I'm not co-signing on that. So let us
Yeah, I
be.
mean, it's very limiting, man.
Mm,
It's very limiting at the end of the day. I mean, for you, if you're going to, there's a right way to do anything, and that's what
yes,
I believe. There's
yes.
always the right way to do anything, and yeah, we should always understand that. And there's just ways which are alienating. That okay,
Mhm,
you have
mhm.
already, you've put yourself out. That person cannot be your client anymore. But what you're offering is good. But
Mm,
simply because you went ahead and said things that didn't matter, and there's a way to say something, there's a time to say something, There's sometimes where, as we said last week, that your message will never be received. It doesn't matter, what you're trying to say, you know. For example, I'm a Christian, right? And I believe that, God doesn't, kill us or give us sickness. Those are my beliefs. So there's one time my cousin, or take away people, whatever, and my cousin, they lost their father with COVID and whatever. And when I went to their house, and they're also in the church, and they were saying that, you know, so the language is like God has taken him; it was his time and whatever. But it's not for me in that moment to say, but no,
mm,
like, dude, someone just
mm,
lost their dad, bro. Like,
mm. No.
just comfort them, do what you have to do, and just move on. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
so I think that's very important. We need people skills, man, and we need to be nice. Be nice, man. Like,
Yes, yes. And watch that tongue. Watch that tongue. I've heard people say,
you're frozen there.
but
Noxy, thank
anyway,
you for the
let's
life.
forget, guys. The internet is forever. People will pull out that. Okay, so on page 70, he says, he was now Santiago is getting ready to leave. He's left actually, and he's reminiscing and he's saying, "Yo, they are not my sheep anymore." He said to himself without nostalgia. They must be used to their new shepherd and have probably already forgotten me. That's good. Creatures like the sheep that are used to traveling know about moving on. So So in this part, it's a small sentence and it's a drop in the story. But I think the point there is very important where we need to learn
All right. I think
to
some people are.
about them. Do they have this? Do they have what we do with that when we dwell on the past? Can you hear
So,
me?
yeah, is someone trying to call you or something?
Am I audible?
You are, but it just
To
freezes. I don't
call
know what.
you.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, no, actually.
So maybe it's
Let
just
me
the
do not disturb. I forgot.
maybe it's just the
Maybe it's the
network.
network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on is what will increase our pace of getting to where we are going. For as long as we dwell on the past and we reminisce and we ruminate, or ruminating is in the future, I think. Okay, whatever. English today. But for as long as we dwell on the past and we whether it's a mistake or a great opportunity missed or a great opportunity that we've had, move on. move on. The other day, somebody said something that reminded me of my workplace before I got married, right? It was really a fun place. It was like we were laughing every single day. Okay. It served a purpose. It was just a memory. It was that, but it was very necessary for me to let that go and to move on, because then if I compare where I was with where I am, with where at any point, if I try to compare and say, but this is what I used to do, this is what then I miss out on all these years, all the things that I've gained all these years. So that we need to be people that like sheep understand that, okay, it is time to move on. It is time to move on when we are rejected. It is time to move on when someone has when you're from a call with someone and they said no, you're trying to sell them something. It's time to move on when you've been cut as someone's client, because then your next client is waiting for you, and they don't deserve a client who is burdened and who is jaded and all. They deserve you, the best you, because they are your new client. For example, a day deserves the best of you that you can present. I understand life happens, but um, sometimes we have to speak to ourselves and say, okay, it is time to move on. Regrets do not do anything to change the past, and that, I'm sorry, that sounds harsh, but it is the factual truth. You sitting in regret, that hour, that those days, those years, the energy you take dwelling on regret, that time and that energy achieves nothing. It
No,
really and
that's
truly achieves nothing.
no, that's so true. And I think sometimes it's easy or easier to let go of the regrets of what has happened to us, right?
Mm,
Or
mm,
the things that have happened to us. Maybe someone did this to you. They retrenched you, they dismissed you, or whatever they did to you, they stole from you, they did what they've said no, they've done whatever. But sometimes, some I think for me personally, I think one of the biggest regrets that can be difficult to let go of, is the regret that is based on our mistakes, right? The mistakes that we've actually done. Like, yes, you did that. You did that. You had something good going on for you, and you messed it up.
mm.
And I think that sort of regret can be so paralyzing. I think it's so toxic to your own self. I don't know if we always talk about toxicity when other people are doing when
Yeah,
someone else is doing something to you, but that's
yeah.
self intoxicating, if I can say that.
Yes.
um
Mm,
because you always think, if I had not done this, if I had not drank that night, or if I had not done this, that day, and driven the car, or if I had not taken that business deal, if I had listened more, if I had
mm,
not
mm.
cheated, I had not done this A, B, and C, whatever it is, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's
And
a burden.
and and it's what's messed up is you continually remind yourself, right? To say that, and you almost, you're at sometimes in your mind, you even go back to, like, that moment where it was like 5 minutes before you made that decision, how your life was so good before you made that decision, which has ruined your life forever. And I think, guys, sometimes there's no when you look at it logically, yes, it was a mistake. Yes, you lost a good thing, but the thing is, you can create, more good things if you let go of that. If you let go of that, say, yes, it's done, man. Dinero, it's for me, it's sad. It's okay. It's not even like, I mean, it's not even hilarious anymore. So I think it's just sad. When we do labor law, and you get an inquiry and someone is saying, I lost my job in 2010. Sure. And I'm like, dude, well, I lost my job in 2008. I mean, you're still holding on to something from 2008. That's like, what, 14 years ago. You're still
Yeah.
holding, saying my life was going to be good if I was still working for that bank, if I was still working for the Department of Labor, Department of Education at that school. And I think in government, because they just, I think, red list your personal number and you're done. And
Sorry,
you know, it's
again.
no, I'm just saying, I think in government they just red list or blacklist your personal number,
Oh,
and you're
oh,
done. I think you can't work. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think. But yes, man, it's tough. But dude, I mean,
yeah.
holding on to something like that for like 14 years,
And
it's
what we
too
don't
much.
understand, Henry, is that the regret is really mental torment. We're tormenting ourselves. I think once we
Mm,
see it as that we are actually tormenting ourselves, it is a mental and emotional lashing. We are giving ourselves lashes with a shambok. That's what we're doing
mm,
mentally. That's what it is.
mm,
And there is a point where that is necessary immediately after that happens, where you need to go through that, but then go through that and then resolve that you're going to stand up and move on from there.
mm.
So I'm
No,
not going
that's
to
so
say
true, eh?
more.
Because I mean, you're basically stifling any other new thing that you could have created. Last week we spoke about the innovation, we spoke about the creativity. When you're in a place of regret, you're stifling that creativity. You're basically telling your mind that we'll never have it as good as we had back then. We never had it as good as we had before COVID. We'll never have it as good when my businesses were moving. We will never have it as good as we had. You know, and that's why most people still are there. And unfortunately, you can't move. The same way you created those good times are the same way you can create more good times going into the future. I spoke to someone who was saying that, she lost like 3,500, birds, like chickens, right? It's like a week before they were due to slaughter. Like a
Ooh,
week before, whether it was a defective batch or whatever. Imagine like feeding all those birds and whatever, how much money you've put in there. It happens. But she's saying, what? I'm going back, I'm getting back on my feet. I know this business works, I know this stuff works, and I'm not gonna stay here. I'm not gonna stay here. And if it was someone else, they would have allowed that to crush them, right?
yes.
They would
I
have
think
allowed that to crush them and say, there's a time we used to do chickens. If it
yes,
wasn't for those people who sold me that those defective chickens, who
yes,
could have been somewhere. And it's
yes.
just saying that's mental torture, man. And it's
It's
crazy.
mental torture. And even if you look at the chicken situation and someone deliberately sold them defective chickens, let's say that, now you've just gained a way to examine and to see what a defective chicken is like. Yes, it took its tuition fee. There's this book that I'm reading and it says that if you think of something as a fee, versus thinking of it as a fine, if you think something is a fine, you want to stay away from it. So
Mm,
the failures that we are going to encounter in business and in life, the catastrophes, they are the tuition fees to getting to Egypt, to getting to the goal. They are not fines, they are not a punishment. Because if
mm,
you think something is punishment, you would want to run away from it. But if you know that, listen, I want to go to Gold Reef City, and to go to Gold Reef City, I need to pay however much it is nowadays to get into Gold Reef City. You're going to have fun. Yes, the rain could prevent some rides and all of that, but you were happy to pay that amount to go into Gold Reef City. But if you think that if someone's traffic fines and tax fines, we all want to stay away from that, and with good reason. So the
mm,
problem with us is that in our pursuit of business, in commerce, in our pursuit of our dreams, we think that failure is a fine, when in fact, failure and catastrophe are a fee that we pay to gain the lessons. It's the tuition fee that we gain so that we can elevate and level up. That is just
mm,
it. So if someone then does that with your chickens and you fold up and pack up shop and you go and you never want to see chickens again, you've failed the class. You were supposed to learn that, okay, this is what defective chickens look like. This is what I must look out for. My intuition, which is the next point that I want to get into. You will find sometimes that maybe you couldn't even tell, but your intuition told you something was off and you ignored it. And maybe that's the one
mm,
lesson you needed to learn from that. That listen, something didn't sit right in this meeting. There's something about what they said. I didn't know what it was, but no, man, I didn't feel okay. So then, but I went ahead with it. So maybe that's your lesson. That next time when that happens, even if it doesn't make sense, you can. I think we've spoken about this before, that you don't have to hurry through anything. If someone wants you to do something in a hurry, nah, that is a red flag on its own. You can always, even though you've agreed that, listen, we are going to buy, I'm going to give you the money today and all of that, and at the 11th hour, you feel your intuition telling you something, you actually have the right to say, you know what, I cannot honor this for now. Can we, whatever it is, find a way to get out of that. Okay. And on the next page, it says about,
Nah, just thinking about this joke that
yeah,
even if it's at the altar, you just think that this
it's
is this is not the bride to
Henry,
be.
and
Or the
everything
groom.
is paid.
If you know that this is not the groom. Walk away.
Run, Murife, run.
Anyway, guys, a topic for another day. But you know what? I
Yes.
like what you're saying that you know, you know, reframing, right? Just that cognitive reframing of the situation that you're in,
Mm,
that really allows you to deal effectively with catastrophe, with all these things. You need to reframe what's going on.
mm,
you know I mean, some people, there's this, what people talk about, this common black tax situation that people love talking about.
mhm,
Dude, you need to guys, the reality is most of us are not going to get out of assisting our parents and all these things. But if you think about it, instead of saying this black tax, which is so negative, but it's actually an opportunity for you to give. It's an opportunity to give. That's what it is. It's an opportunity to give, to your parents, to your family. You're actually giving. And if you frame your mind and frame that action in that way, it actually will help you, to actually do it with much ease, and it will actually assist you to receive from that. Because remember, if you're not giving it cheerfully, it's not going to help you.
But I
So,
think to the defense of that, I agree with you. I think there's slices of pizza. I think the
mhm.
whole black text thing is. Let's digress a
No,
little
and
bit.
I'm not, I'm not like, I'm not going deep into it. But all I'm just
No,
saying, I'm
let's
talking
do
about
it.
at the surface.
Let's
I
do it.
know there's a lot of things, those who want to take advantage of you and how
Yes,
you need to
that's
do
what I
it,
wanted to
in a
say.
way, in a budgeted way. It's not killing you. I
Yes,
understand that. That's fine.
yes,
But I'm saying for those who can even say, okay, yes, it's part of my I
yes.
can afford to
No.
do it, but
Mm,
still they frame it negatively in the
yes.
sense that, Ash, man, this is a burden. Why
Mm,
are my parents not rich? Why, whatever it is, you know, if
yeah,
it's something that, what, I'm going to work on reframing it.
yeah.
It's not even black text only, it's a lot
Absolutely.
of other things. Just work on your attitude, as I saying, your attitude is important. You know,
Yes.
just work on the attitude of doing stuff. And it will help you and it's not just limited to that. We said any other negative stuff that happens, that cognitive reframe is important. And someone might be, yes, you deal with people who are whatever they say, it's a toxic person or whatever, but you need to just learn and just say, hey, maybe they meant this. Or maybe they didn't mean it that way.
Mm, mm.
It's for your own protection.
Yes.
For your own protection. That's what you're trying to do. Yeah.
This is so funny because I did a short course in reframing for exactly that. So, people, if you're going through difficult times, find a video or a YouTube, just Google reframing or cognitive reframing. That will help you in putting on a new set of eyes on the same situation that you're facing, and which is what Henry's saying. Perfect. That's it right there. Okay. So I want to move a little bit into intuition, and then we are going to talk about the detours, which is more or less saying the same things, right? So he says hunches at the top of page 71. He's talking about hunches. His mother had called them. The boy was beginning to understand that intuition is really a sudden immersion of the soul into the universal current of life, where the histories of all people are connected, and we are able to know everything because it's all written there. Maktuba, he says, and then the next paragraph, he says, the desert was all sand and some stretches of rocky. When the no, sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. Okay, yes, let's stop it there, because I think somewhere he said that in connection to intuition, the hand that when you go through tough times, the hand that wrote everything in the past and in the future is the same hand. So when you're going through tough times, remember that. So when it comes to intuition, and regret, where I wanted to marry the two, is that for as long as you are living in regret and you are tormenting yourself mentally about whatever you're going through, you shut out that connecting channel, or what connects you to intuition. Call it the Holy Spirit, call it your in my language we call it another heart, like as if you've got other hearts connected to you. So you will say that my other heart told me to go this way, and then the other heart literally, that's what it literally means in my language, right? So you shut off your connection to that heart that is able to tell you, to guide you out of that situation. So that's what regret, that the energy and the time that you take in regret is the time and energy that is not spent to receive information from your intuition. That's that's why regret, that's the downfall, that's the real cost of regret. That you have an opportunity for your intuition to communicate your next step. You have an opportunity to ask, okay, this is bad, this is catastrophic, where should I go? Because we've all had that experience. I refuse to believe that there isn't a human being living who has heard something, who has heard an inaudible voice that said, go this way, do this, and that turned out to be something that is like unbelievable. We've all had that. It could be small, it could be big. So that is not, even though we might not be able to scientifically speak about it, or we might not agree with it in terms of religion, right? But we've all had that. And if you really think about it, it would be good for us to strengthen our relationship with that, whatever name you give it, whether it's intuition, your second heart, or your, whatever it is, it's the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call, you want to call it God. You want to strengthen your connection to that. So strong that you are able to actually ask a question and wait for an answer. Either it'll come immediately, or you trust that, you know what, my intuition will tell me the answer. I don't know what to do here. I'm in, and I don't know if this has ever happened to anyone, but when I'm at my lowest, and when I went through the worst, whether I'm like raging, when I used to go through rage, I used to be like very, very angry. Like whether I'm red with rage, or whether I'm really depressed and I'm crying and things are really bad, I have seen that in that moment, whatever question that I ask, it's almost like the sadness or the anger gets rid of the nonsense in my head, and that's all that I'm doing. But whatever question that I ask, I get the answer to in that moment. And you could call it intuition, you could call it whatever. So we would want to strengthen that relationship. We want to strengthen that so that we can be led, because this is what this is all about. There's physical, natural things that we see every day, and then there's nuances. There's things that are about, there's things that are led by intuition and in the present moment, and something happens and you are informed in the present moment, and information, and you remember something at the right time in the right opportunity. We can't explain that, but we want to be good at that, whatever that is.
So true.
Yeah, so when we regret, we shut out intuition. When we are in
That's
fear
so
all
true.
the time, we shut out intuition. We shut out our connection to that place that is unknown. And he says here that it's where the histories of all people are connected. So because we are connected because we are connected. That connection to that next thing that I'm supposed to do, the next person I'm supposed to call, the next step I'm supposed to make, it will be cut. I'll be cut off from the next step and the knowledge of what to do because I'm wallowing in regret.
That's so true. That's so true. Hey, CPG, thank you for the likes. Paxing, thank you for the likes. Guys, let's like the live, man. You can tap on your screen as many times as you want. Katli, good morning. Z Black, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Mr. Chilizi Simpra, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yes.
Thanks for the gift, Zah. Thank you.
Thank you for the gift, Zai, as well. Yeah.
Yes. I want to now go into at the bottom of 71 and 73 a little bit. He says, but all that happened for one basic reason. No matter how many detours and adjustments it made, the caravan moved towards the same campus point. Once obstacles were overcome, it returned to its course. So it's like the plane, and I think we've spoken about this, and I think Uncle B Captain B can correct us. We can ask him. He can correct us. I've heard that an aircraft is on course only 2% of the time. 98% of the time is autocorrection. It's off course 98% of the time. It's only on course 2%. But most aircraft arrive at their destination. So our insistence or our addiction, we are addicted to things, to predictability. The English is running away from me. We are addicted to certainty.
That's it.
We are addicted to certainty. We are addicted to certainty such that if things do not go certainly a certain way, if things don't go a certain way, we think it's a failure and we are panicking. So then the caravan, things would happen, it would be rocky, they would meet war, and they would need to change direction and detour. But after they have overcome the obstacles, they still maintained the direction they were going in. And that is the message for us today, that you will meet a lot of obstacles, you meet a lot of things going on. And again, the failure thing, you will fail along the way. After you've overcome that, after the chickens have died and you've taken them and you've disposed of them in a legal way or in a sanitary way, after that is done, you know, after you've gotten over that, come back to the matter at hand. That is why then a vision board centers you, because then you will go through something and you will go back to that every morning to remind you, hey, this is where I'm going. These are my goals. You have it looking at you every morning that, hey, these are my goals. These are the number of people that by the end of the year, I want them to have visited my website. You know, this is my income goals. I've just suffered this, but hey, I'm back again. You see? So no matter the downfall, no matter what we can arrive. Here's the point. We can still arrive at the destination, even if we arrive late. We can still arrive at the destination, even though the route we've taken was the one 98% of the time totally unplanned for, and it was inconvenient. We can still arrive, and this is what I've learned from my 17-year-old self to now. I wasn't aware. And this is what I've learned in therapy that I would like to share with everyone today. And the message of that is even though, right? So something happened when I was 17. I made a big mistake, and I held on to that mistake, and I tormented myself mentally, and I tormented myself so much that it went subconscious. I wasn't even aware that I did that, right? So, and then what happened is, through going through therapy, we uncovered the reason for my start stops, the reason for doing so many things. We're looking at a lot of things. And what my therapist helped me see was that when you're talking about reframing, going back to attaching meaning to how things happen, I reframed my past and said, even though I made a mistake, I can stand up. Even though I failed, I can still perform well. My dreams are still valid, even though That's why that statement means so much to me. My dreams are still valid even though I let myself down. I can still I can still achieve the goal. I can still reach Egypt even though you left me, even though you cheated on me, even though you stole money from me. I can still, I think we need to marry regret with the even though. So we go through the regret a little bit and we stand up and we say, look, even though this has happened, I am still qualified. I still have everything in me. I still have everything in me to make that happen. Even though the person that I relied on has left me and has gone for somebody else, I can still arrive at that. I don't know how and by whom's help, but it is still possible for me. The thing is that we catastrophize our future. Something catastrophic happens now and we infect our future with it. And we think we are disqualified for, we are the bottom of the barrel, you don't deserve any good, you will always get second best, you'll always be overlooked, you are not good enough, it's all of those things. I will never measure up. I mean, the mistake that I was head girl at the school, I was loved, I was celebrated, I was all of that. And then I just threw it all away and I was suspended for a boy that I don't even know where he is now. And I held on to that for years without even knowing. So even though, so what I needed somebody else to tell me at 17 is that yes, you've lost your leadership, the one thing that meant a lot to you. Yes, you've lost the prospect of being celebrated until the year finishing being a head girl. Yes, you've lost all of that. But you can still be all the things that you said you wanted to be before this boy came into your life. You can still achieve, because I gave up on myself academically. And I passed because I'm an A student, but I got C's because I didn't study and I gave up on life. You understand what I'm saying? Do you see how a catastrophe can just make you just throw away everything? It's like the saying, throwing away the water with the baby. That what I needed to throw away was the water, not the baby. So
The dirty bath water.
yeah, the dirty bath water must be thrown out, but the baby must remain. So we need to understand that even though, so my 17-year-old needed someone to tell me that. I got it at 40. It's okay, never too late to get that. That even though that boy did, you allowed yourself to, you knew that was wrong and you did it and you let yourself down, you can still get straight A's. Even though this is sad and you are embarrassed, because I was ashamed. I felt shame. I felt like if I could go to another school, it would have been better. It was all those things. So even though you feel ashamed, you can give yourself time to grieve and stand back up again and go get your marks, go get your bursaries. And, because I was one of those that were earmarked for, this one is going to get a bursary. And because none of that happened, I didn't trust myself. I'm like, you're not trustworthy. I don't. So that's the conversation I had with myself subconsciously. So I want us to really understand failure in that way, that you can lose R500,000 in a deal because someone betrayed you.
No, you can be stupid. I mean, you can. I mean, but you can make the mistake. You can be greedy. You can know,
Yes.
like, it can be on you, not someone else. I mean, those ones are the ones whereby we struggle. Yes,
Yes.
it's easy if I can, put someone, point the finger at someone else. But sometimes it's just you
You.
who has done what
Let's say
you've
you
done.
invested in Triple M and you lost 100,000. Okay, so let's say you did that, or you got whatever it is. This, you need to grieve that once the realization hits you that you've betrayed yourself or you've made a stupid move or a bad move, right? And then you need to say, even though I have gambled away 100,000 of my family's resources, it is still possible for me to go make a success of my life. We need to actually see that that does not exclude you, that that is an event that happened one moment in time, and that it does not have to mean that the next moment in time that is affected by that, unless you say so. So even though you've gambled away or you've given away 100,000, if you look at all the things the technicality of it, that in itself, with your mental faculties and your skills and the resources, does not exclude you from actually making 5 million in 2 years' time. It doesn't, unless you spend that whole 2 years just in regret and beating yourself up. But it happened 2 years ago. Get into the habit of letting it go every day. As when it comes back, you tell yourself, that was then, this is now. That was 2 years ago, this is now.
Yeah, and to just, actually just do that analysis and say, what sort of person was I? Don't bury your head in the sand. Was it greed that caused me to do this? Then yes, it was greed. Okay, I was a greedy person. What informed that? Was it jealousy that caused me to do this? Was it lust? Was it this or that or whatever it is? And do the assessment and be honest with yourself. This is why I didn't do this. And this is what informed me backstabbing this person. This is what informed me stealing that money. This is what informed me murdering. That's what you have to do. That's the only way that you can move from that. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying that, trying to help someone, and they say, no, that person, yeah, they are very emotional. They are very emotional. They're very. I'm like, listen, what you need to do, make sure that that being emotional, you need to understand where it's coming from. Yeah, dealing with a guy you're saying is very emotional and whatever, it's like some marriage counseling thing.
Yeah.
Don't just knock the guy down. And I feel sometimes this society just likes knocking men. Like you say, just get on with it. They're very emotional. Make him feel heard. Because even if you just go and read this book and let's talk about what did you understand. Dude, that's not helping someone. Right? There's a reason why this person feels the way they feel. They feel that they're not being listened to, whatever, their wife is disrespecting them. That's how they feel. So engage with that. Engage with that. And make sure that this person understand what is their background. Speak to them to say that, hey man, you don't have to feel like this. This is how we can fix it. So I feel as a society, we just need to really engage in this thing. But before we go ahead, just shout out to Noxy for the likes, Greenwald, D8631, there are two Ds here, D Guadla Guadla, Diale, Komotso, Nokulele, Ko, OZM. Thank you for the likes, guys. Much love to all you guys. So we got some requests here. I don't know if we're going to accept some requests. And one thing I just wanted to say as well is that I was just thinking to myself early in the morning, I was like, you know what? The way you can do this life, guys, is if I think a successful life is one that is lived, in reconciliation with our mistakes. If you live, reconciled to your mistakes. Yes, I made that mistake. It was me. I did that. And you own it and you honestly and you rectify it. That's life. And it's important to just know, guys, that everyone is going through the same thing. Sometimes we want to say that, it's only me that's going through this, guys. Most people's lives you meet, they are chaotic in one way or the other. They might look like they are perfect, but there is some chaos there. And yeah. Coach Patisa, how are you?
I saw. Hi, Coach Patisa.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Henry. Hi, Dineo. How are you doing?
Awesome. Sorry, I saw you requested for a long time, but anyway, yeah, man, we're accepting requests.
No worries. I mean, I wasn't sure if you guys are finishing off or what's going on. But I wanted to come into the point. I mean, thanks, Dineo. Such important lessons and your story there is so insightful. I wanted to come into the point of the regrets, because when I came in, it was regrets. How do we handle regrets, and how can we move forward? And we I mean, we all said it's hard, especially if those regrets you've caused them, you are the problem. And I mean, I wanted to say we are mostly so hard on ourselves as humans, and especially if you know that you are, a perfectionist. We have all those qualities. You are a type A, so you want everything to go well. If something goes bad, then you hit yourself very hard. You beat yourself. You cannot move forward because how can you? You are the role model here. Why are you doing this? But at the same time, it's very important to really have that self compassion. That's what I taught myself.
I like that self-compassion. Love it.
Yes, through the coaching, and because I mean I'm also one of those people who like, yeah, achiever, let's go, let's go. So I needed to learn self-compassion for me because I was giving that to a lot of people, everybody, but not me. So very, very hard on myself, very hard on my failures, not accepting when I failed because I'm supposed to be doing everything right. But it's not who we are. We are humans, we are flawed, we are going to make mistakes. I mean, I liked what Zaz said the last time, I think many months ago. You expect mistakes, even, I mean, failures, even in business. You need to expect that you will fail, expect that you're going to do it wrong because you are learning. This is a learning. This is your human experience. You are on a journey of learning and getting to know yourself and just learning everything. I mean, the business that we're doing here is we are learning as well. So there are going to be lots of mistakes. There are going to be things that we're not going to do well, but we are learning. So, I mean, what you were saying, Henry, about reframing, so the stories that we tell ourselves are very important. What do you say to yourself when you made that blunder? Are you going to say, I'm stupid, stupid me? Or are you going to say, wait, I made a mistake and I'm
And it seems
learning?
sounds so right. It seems so sound right to say, stupid.
And it's so
It seems like
horrible.
you deserve it. Yeah, I
Yes.
deserve.
You see
And
now,
they
you
say
deserve.
sometimes we speak things to ourselves that we would never speak to other people.
Yes, you never say that to your friend. You say to your friend, look, don't worry, you get it right next time. But to you, you say, oh, look at you. Ah, you are never going to get ahead of everything, So we need to be very kind and have that the grace, self-compassion to ourselves and just love ourselves. It comes from a point of love when you say, look, this is the mistake that I've made. And I mean, that time you made that thing, you didn't know better. I mean, I always say that to myself. I had this information, so I made this call. So if I knew better, then I was going to do it differently. So, I mean, I've learned not to have regrets because of those reasons, because I know that I'm always learning. I'm on this path of growth, and I'm going to give myself also the same compassion that I give to others. So it's very important. And I mean, you learn it the hard way, as you were saying, Dineo, as you grow up, you carry those things, but now you need to do your own work to say, look, this is me, and I'm not a superwoman. I'm not anyone, I'm not I'm not perfect. I live here on planet Earth. I make mistakes, I do things well. And also another important thing, when you look at your mistake, also look at the good things that you're doing, because you do a lot that is right. So have that balance view of yourself, that I have these strengths. Yes, sometimes I have these weaknesses. So yeah, so that's what helps me as well. So I wanted to just encourage people in the whole regret thing and the whole being hard on ourselves, and that it's not over and it's not as bad.
Yeah.
We can recover.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask, I mean, those are very, very like very important, like what you're saying. Just with that issue in terms of you know, this perfectionism, right? Whereby then it flows to you not being hard on yourself. Is it also important to just look back and say, where did this come from, right? Why do I want to, or why was I sort of like the perfect person, or whatever, or why this pressure to be perfect? um is it one of the things that one should look at and say, maybe in my past, maybe there was just too much pressure, whether it's from parents or people around you, or I don't know, is it like trying to cover up to say that, okay, I feel I'm inferior in this way, therefore I'm gonna try to make it up in this way, then this becomes my identity. Like, how
You
do you
know,
guys understand it, and
yes,
how should it be dealt with? Sorry guys, there's
through
maintenance
my
here, so
own
I
therapy.
hope it's not like too noisy.
No, I think I got what you're saying. Through my own therapy work and through also other people, right? It usually the perfectionism always is linked to when you were growing up, the intolerance to mistakes, the intolerance to failure, rejection, abandonment, all those things. Because of the pain that you feel when when you are wrong and how you are either beaten, scolded, shamed with words, rejected, made fun of. We want to avoid that as human beings. So, because that's the case, perfectionism then is a coping mechanism. So, you want to cope with the fact that, with from the pain of how it felt when you were when failure was not, like I said, it was not tolerated. So that's then why we need to be very careful how we raise our children and to make sure that, um, we speak of their mistakes in a almost neutral, or just like, hey, everybody makes, hey, I make a mistake too. Hey, I forget too. If a child forgets, like, look, I sometimes forget. It might have been a big thing and it might be difficult for you as a parent, but we have to realize the impact and then say that's where perfectionism comes from. That's where being hard on yourself comes from, because you were not allowed. We were not raised where mistakes were celebrated. I watched a video where someone said in her family at the dinner table, the father asked, "What did you fail at today? What did you do absolutely wrong today? What failure did you go through? Tell me." And it was weird until they got used to it. And now that person is fearless. When they make mistakes, like, hey, you know, and then obviously after that they get to talk about what happened. Then they dissect it. It's not you are a failure. Is that a failure happened? What did you learn from it? So it's a lot. It's centered around that. Being scolded, being beaten for making mistakes, being abandoned, because abandonment it makes you very angry, and you, because you are abandoned, you want to hold on to things, and you want to, as a coping mechanism, you feel like if I were perfect, they would have never abandoned me.
Wow.
So then you want to present
I
yourself
mean,
in
even
such a way that,
blaming, I think kids also blame yourself for divorce, for
yes,
parents separating, not being together and stuff.
just do that.
Mm.
Mm.
No, cool stuff. Let's just hear from, I
Yeah.
think, Tabish.
I just wanted to say something. Sorry. I mean, I agree with Coach Dineo, everything that she said. And yeah, childhood is very, yeah, scars a lot of kids. And especially, I mean, if you are a critical parent, everything is scrutinized. If you get
Mm.
like 70% on a
Yes,
test, they ask you what
yes,
happened to the 30%.
mm,
So honestly, it's how you raise your children. Do you raise them in that safe space where you allow them to fail, you allow them to make mistakes, and you tell them that it's okay to make mistakes, and you continue with life. So it's very
mm,
important to what you say to your kids, what you say,
mm,
the wording, the stuff that we say are very important. They shape our mindset for the future.
mm. Yep. Hypercritical cause, 100%. That can be the cause, 100%.
Cool stuff. Tabiso, that's so true. Tabiso. Is this a mistake? All right, maybe it's a mistake. Let's hear. Hi, Chilidzi, how are you?
Actually,
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, okay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, man. Any questions for Coach Dineo or insights?
You know, Coach Dineo, I don't know if she's a prophet or what, but as I told you yesterday when you asked, I'm also a church leader. So I was on Twitter Space this morning and I was preaching exactly about this. And it's because of something that happened in my life. I'm in business now, full time and all that. But one thing that nearly stopped me from going for my dreams was when I lost my mom, and I felt that it was my fault because financially I was not good. I was not in good standing where I could take her to wherever, maybe the doctors that she needed and all that. And I stayed with that for years, almost 20 years, thinking that, it's my fault. And it happened that during COVID, I lost my dad. And I realized that, you know what, with all the monies that you may have and all that, if a person is going to go, that person will go. And, I wish I understood this back then when I lost my mom. I would have been far. But, you get and you become depressed. That creative mind is shut down, and you focus on you being that loser
Sure.
for a very long time, So, but, now I'm changing other people's lives because of the experience that I went through. And I know that wherever they are watching and they're proud. So yeah, that's my input. That's my input.
Wow, man. Hey, you know what? You know what? That's and I was just like, wow, because these are sort of other dimensions, right? Other angles of where these things can come from. You know, I mean, something like that, whereby, yeah, like you lose the parents and you feel like, man, this is my fault, right? I could have done that. I should have, if I was in this position. And man, thank you for sharing that, man. That's so powerful.
Thank you so much, Chilizi, for saying that. I do not take it lightly when someone says, and Homoto CPG. Everyone in the comments, CPG, Homoto RSA, thank you so much. And I think in
CPG, did you
closing,
request? I saw you had requested.
oh, please,
You
CPG
you
must
can accept
request.
that
CPG must
request
request.
if you had requested.
I
Yeah,
want
but
to
anyway.
close with what my purpose is and what my destiny is when we close today. And I would challenge everyone on this live to go and articulate their own. Hi, CPG.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. I was just anxious, but this conversation actually reaches deep for me because I was raised in a family where my dad was a pastor, so every child must have been and was supposed to be an A student. So
Wow.
now looking back, if you just didn't get anything right in terms of your academics, you're not allowed to do certain things like sport because no, you must focus on this. And I got into a space. I think also the other thing is that we get into a space where we become self-entitled in the sense that because I'm capable of doing this, my life has been planned out. I'm supposed to go to primary school. I'm an A student, high school, university. After that, my career is set because you already got a plan, right?
Yes.
And because it is expected of you that this is how your path is going to be. So any mistake that derails you, you kind of live
Mm,
in a bubble, thinking that by right I'm supposed to be at this stage, but I'm not. If I had followed it to the T, then I could have been this.
mm,
And I used to live in that aspect of saying, by right, I should be having this house. By
mm,
right, I should be driving this car. By right. Then I realized I had to sit down and say, no, there is nobody that owes me anything. And mistakes were definitely guaranteed, but I did not see it that way because at a certain point, going through school, getting straight A's was a given. So now when you go to the society, it's a different ball game because this is no longer school. You now have to balance your academics, you have to balance family life, your own family. You have to balance living, like speaking about family, you meet somebody who's raised from a different environment. And I struggled with relationships because I expected this man to do this. And if things didn't go well, I would say, no, let me just go and consult my brothers because
Sure.
they understand. So I lived in a space where I did not forgive myself for a long time. And this for me is like therapy because I haven't even accepted that. But now having such conversations has made me realize that no, I'm actually limiting. I've drawn myself back many years. If I can count the number of years, you'd even be disappointed. You understand? Because I've said
No, there's no disappointment. You need to
No
say.
disappointment. 23 years. Yeah. 23
yeah, so
years.
I've set myself
Yeah.
many years back because of that expectation and being perfect. And you know, when you're a straight A student, the people who tell you, we expect that in life you would be doing this. And you kind of get disappointed because, okay, so I could have, but life happened and it didn't go
Mm,
that way. And
mm,
we live in that space for a very long time and fail to realize that you can get a chance to say, let me start over. The statement that I love now, I say, I'll start over again as many times as I can because I'm not going to kill myself for what didn't go right in my life. And it's a very sad space. And most people think you've got control over your life because you are this clever person, you are driven, you are this, you are that. But now what they fail to understand is that you are a human being at the end of the day. And you, like, I love somebody who said you have to give yourself a bit of self care, you know, because, you know, you forget that I am also relevant. What is my role is not to come and fix what everybody, problems that everybody is going through. I also have things going on for my life that I need to fix and not even fix per se, but accept, acknowledge, learn something from it and grow from it. So it's a very lonely space because as somebody who is supposed to know things, people assume that you always know for your life. You've got answers for everybody, but your life is not going that direction because you've got solutions for everybody, just not for yourself. So it kind of makes me feel better now that, okay, I just thought I was
You're
alone in
not,
that space.
you're not
But yeah,
alone.
thank you so much for
Mm.
having such conversations. I
You're
really
not
appreciate it.
alone.
I just had to speak fast so I can squeeze everything in. I'm so overwhelmed. It's not even funny.
Awesome. Hey, man, that's
That's
amazing. Thank
great.
God.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Zibuile, thank you for the likes. And yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
CBG, thank you for sharing. Nelisa, thank you for the likes. Diale Noxy, Victorious, thank you for the gifts as well. Coach Dineo, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
It's like
I
11 minutes
didn't even
past.
plan for it to get here. Sorry?
Hi, Henry. Please drop me. This is like the first time I've actually called in, so I have no idea how this thing works for me to
Uh,
drop the line.
all right, cool. All right, cool. Lerato, thank you for the likes. Nelisa, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes, guys. Okay, I think all right. Let's hear from Zibuile here.
Let's get it to 20,000 before we go.
20K
Um,
likes. Yes, 20K likes. Lerato, thank you for the likes. Thank you, guys. You can tap on your screen as many times as you want. TikTok doesn't stop you. So yeah, man, let's like the live. Zibuile, how are you?
I'm fine, guys. How are you?
Awesome,
all good.
awesome. Any questions, comments, questions for Coach Dineo?
No, it's mostly a comment. It's weighing heavy on me. This being born in the 80s and then having these high expectations of having gone to school and done whatever your parents told you that you need to do to be successful. And now that you are expecting the results, you're not getting anything and you need to re-strategize. And now that I'm at a point of re-strategizing, my strategy is not working out that well. But
Yeah.
being part of these lives has helped in that I've learned that I was someone who really did not like corporates. But I started a poultry business, and then I just recently realized that okay, I didn't get the right advice. I did go and ask a few questions with people, but I guess the person that I got the most information from was someone who wasn't on the ground. doing the business. So the person had the business, but they were not on the ground. So I missed a few important things. But then I realized also that now I need corporate actually to go and start and save so that I can come back and do something that will actually amount to something. But it is also the frustration, like I went to school, I got the degree, respected your parents, you behaved yourself well, and took care of your reputation, so to say. And now that it's time, you're like, gosh, I'm in my 30s. I thought I'd be married with kids and, the picket fence that the Americans talk about and the house and everything. But it's not that. So you do feel guilty. You feel responsible. You feel like you failed to a certain extent because you want to do so many things. You had so many dreams. You had a vision for yourself, for your family, even, but you realizing that it's not materializing at the pace that you hoped it would. So it's really frustrating. I think most of us in my generation are just battling with that frustration that even if you do pick yourself up to start something, when you get to the point of failing, it's even more difficult because it was difficult even at first because the first plan, which was to get an education, did not work, what your parents told you. And then you picked yourself up and you initiated starting a business. And then when that fails, it's really, really painful. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, Zivu, what you've just explained is I can relate to that. I hear that and I understand that, and lots of love to you. And that's what we're saying. The reason we all, and I think most of us, if not all of us, have gone through some form of that, varying degrees, and it's all painful when it's happening to you because it doesn't matter what everybody else is going through, right? What I also want you to remember is that the reason why it is like that is that no one taught us that failure is good. No one taught us letting go and accepting a mistake and forgiving yourself within that time. And so when you are left to fend for yourself and your mental state is left to you and you don't have anybody to guide you towards that, all you're going to put it all on you. You're going to blame yourself. If you don't have the tools then of moving on, of picking up, if you don't understand that this is a necessary part of your journey, that failing, getting things wrong is normal, you will vilify yourself for that. And that's just
Yeah.
the environment that we grew up in. And then our challenge is to teach ourselves something new. And that something new is that, okay, failure is non-negotiable. It is part of it. And I can start again. And even though my history is like that, I can still X, Y, Z. And just to keep reminding ourselves of that, even though my situation is this, I'm not excluded for dreaming a new dream, from pivoting and making a success of that pivot. I am not excluded from actually, even though like I said in my story, even though it took me 23 years, I didn't know I was carrying something from the time I didn't know I was carrying a mistake that I made when I was 17 in matric. And it was
Mm.
responsible for so many things going on in my life. So it's 23 years later. Well, guess what? I'm alive today. There's nothing I can do about that 23. And that is
Yeah.
for me right now to say, okay, that's what I've learned. And when I see it, I'm like, that's that ugly dragon rearing its head again. No, today is a new day. We are under new management. We are no longer
Yes.
punishing ourselves from the mistake of a 17-year-old. I'm not 17 anymore. I'm 40. I have a family. I have a career. I have a business. I have a purpose. And I have a vision for my life. That's who I am right now. The 17-year-old was young, was going through teenagehood, was going through a lot of issues, abandonment, and all of that. That is who that girl was. And she is valid, her experience is valid, her pain is valid, her frustrations are valid, her insecurities are valid. But this is where I am right now. So
Awesome.
thank
Yeah,
you
I
so much,
get it.
for the thank you. So I
Thank you
think
for
that
the wisdom.
I think it's that dance of realizing, reconciling our past with our future. And somebody, I don't know if it was you, Henry, somebody said we need to live a life of reconciling our mistakes. It's really just that. Our history, our hurt, the things we've been through, so that we can do good in business, we can do good in commerce, we can do good in corporate, and you can go back to corporate, like we said. I don't know if you are following the story of this book, so that you do see corporate as your crystal merchant, that this is not where I want to be, but I need to be in
I
corporate
have.
in order, yes, I need to be in corporate in order then to achieve that. If that's what happened, I lost all my sheep and it's my fault, or it's not my fault, whatever the case is, hey, this is the situation I'm in. I'm standing up. I'm going to the crystal merchant, but Egypt is still my destination.
Yes, because you get to the place where you're like, I know exactly what I need to do to get ahead again, but I'm depleted. Like I'm sitting with a solution in my head, thinking, okay, this is probably exactly what I need to do, but I'm exhausted. I just wish someone else would jump in and then I would take it after they've done what is in my head that I know needs to be done, and then I want to jump in from there because I'm so exhausted.
Yes.
Wow. So I think I think with you, Will, I think the awesome thing is that you're willing, to pivot. Say, man, if it's going back to corporate or going to corporate, that's what I need to do. However, I think with me, one thing I learned is that there's no experience in life that is lost, right? That there's no experience. We are all building. Our lives are going towards a certain place, a certain direction, and there's no experience that is lost, as we build our lives. I was laughing to myself the other day that I did like two, failed, like what, not even failed, like, weight loss journeys where you lose like 17 kgs, like, and you do it
That one is
again,
a mission.
you regain it, you do it again, it is so painful, man. And I'm on one
Yeah,
again, and uh, it's life. But there are lessons learned from all that. You can't rubbish and
definitely.
say, oh, this is nonsense, this is what I did last time there, it's nonsense. It's all a journey, right? It's all about
Yeah,
who you are becoming as a person. And sometimes in life, we've put those, or society puts those markers, and we accept them. Say, be married at this time, have a child at this time, have a flourishing career at this time, or whatever it is, your business has to be booming at these times. All of these expectations, as you say, 80s babies, when there was independence or whatever it is. But a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed.
mm,
So I think we just have
yes.
to do that. But I also wanted to ask you is about this poultry business. Where are you doing it from, or are you
I'm in
still doing it?
KZN.
In
I'm
case
still doing it. I'm in KZN, but I was thinking I'm probably gonna have to leave for Joburg or Cape Town or maybe East London or Durban, the city, because I'm in a small town. Bangini Richards Bay is very small.
so okay. So you wanted to leave, let's say, Joburg to do what? To do the corporate thing, to do
Usually,
the
because
poultry thing.
usually I have usually I do work in Cape Town or Joburg, but then here in KZN they don't have a lot of gigs for compliance
Also,
because
you
I
do
did an
compliance.
LLB. I did an LLB and then I did compliance, so I have experience in compliance, anti-money laundering, and KYC. So here they don't have a lot of work like that, and I've been consulting all these years, so it hasn't been stable. So that's why usually, because I work with a certain company that does advisory work, they usually have clients in Joburg and Cape Town, adapt advisory. So usually I have to leave home if I'm gonna do a project.
Okay, so you wanted to be home to be able to do the poultry thing. Is that like your passion? Is that like, what are you
No,
passionate about?
that is not even my passion.
What are
That
you
my
passionate
passion, what I'm passionate about has always been property. Ever since I was young, there was these little magazines that were called ad mags, that used to be put like outside, maybe at spa, advertising property. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but as young as primary or high school, I would collect these magazines that they used to put out there when they were selling property. And I just loved it. I love property development. Before COVID happened, I tried to do Airbnb and then COVID hit and then I stopped that. and then I came back. So now I'm like at ground zero again.
But you still have the skills. So you love doing the A, B, and B stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, was that in Joburg?
No, it was in Cape Town.
Yeah, so I think follow your passion, eh? Follow your passion. I think Lerato is actually saying you can also try working remotely. www.crossover.com. You know, there are a lot of people, LLBs and all these things, who are actually working for companies in the States and all these things. I don't know, Lerato, if that website is with regards to that. Um, but yeah, man, I think just follow your passion. I think your passion will lead you, but also with that, that balance. As long as you know how to work it out. If it's covering your basics and all these things, but definitely, I think the most important thing is just being part of the family, man, the community, and being in a place where sometimes answers will eventually come to us, man, to all of us. It's a
Yeah.
journey. Like life is a journey.
Yeah, I
There's no
guess by
magic
being
pill.
in the group, I'm preparing myself.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm
mm.
definitely preparing myself mentally, mostly.
Wow. No, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, yeah. No, it will work out. It will work out. So, guys,
All
hey,
the
it's
best,
been
Lulu. All the best. I
Thank
think
you so
I'll
much.
do my passion next. Next time. What my purpose is, but I want to let's meet next time, and we all, if you can type it or you can articulate it for yourself, what you believe your passion to be and your destiny is. Why are you born? Why was it important that you were born in that skin, that gender, at this time in history? Why you? What is that about you? Why did you go through all the things that you've been through? And Zibu has told her story, CPG has told her story, I've told a bit of my story, and I think it is Chilizi has also spoken about Chilizi's story also. And the beautiful thing about our stories is that part of it, if not all of it, is buried in our story. In sharing our stories and the things that we've grown from, we can actually let someone else not feel alone, and we can clarify things for somebody else. So what is the question of purpose is a tough one, I think. But yeah, okay, Lerato D says it's a tough one, yes. um but go and study that. We do tough things. I tell my children all the time, look, it is tough. I acknowledge that it is tough, but we do tough things all the time. So
mm,
let's go and look at that and what you believe it is. And it may not be the one, it may be, it might need to be refined or whatever the case is, but your current understanding, what do you believe? And again, like we said at the beginning of this book, right? It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be feeding the hungry. And we think if my purpose is not feeding the hungry, then it can't be a purpose. I need a noble, so to speak, purpose. I spoke about beauty, that some people's purpose is just to beautify the earth, to beautify people, to beautify spaces, or to be beautiful themselves and have us look at something that is extremely beautiful. I believe that is a purpose, as shallow as some people might say that is. Have you seen very, very, very beautiful people and just stopped and stared? That is worth it right there, I think. To stop and stare
yeah.
someone like, oh my word. So yeah. So let's go think about that. I want to open with that the next time, what mine is, and encourage everyone to be sure or not sure to explore what that is with us.
No, so true, so true. So, hey, Coach Dineo, much love, really much love to everyone. Thank you for the gifts. Everyone was gifting D8631 for the roses. Everyone was gifting, guys. Lerato D, thank you, guys. Much love to you. Everyone was liking this live, sharing this live. D, Convince, Nelisa Busisi, we user 838, Noxy, Visonia, Mafete, T. Sizeka Mahle Lerato D. Thank you for liking, guys. Thank you. Much love to everyone. So Lucy, how often do we host these talks? We host these talks every morning. Monday to Friday between 8 and supposed to be 9. But anyway, it's 9:27 right now. So yeah, so if you want to know next time we go live, please join our WhatsApp group. The link is in the bio, guys. In the link tree, you don't have to worry about a lot of people posting, because only admins can post. Also, thank you for the likes. So yes, so you don't have to worry about that. Yesterday we had an awesome live with Captain B about starting and winning in the bakery business. I mean, he produces like 3,500 loaves of bread per day. So man, if that's your sort of thing, if you're in baking, you want to learn how to scale up, I'm going to post that link to that live in our WhatsApp group. So join our WhatsApp group now. The link is in the bio. I'm going to post it now. It's via YouTube, so we can get that going. So everyone, much love to you guys. Tomorrow, we're actually talking about poultry, winning in the poultry business. So if that's your sort of thing, let's do that tomorrow, Thursday. So Coach Dineo, much love to you. Thank you very much. People are excited. Everyone excited. Shiliza says thank you. Everyone saying thank you. No, much love. Otilia saying thank you. OZM. Lerato saying I'll join. So guys, much love. Join the WhatsApp group, guys. The link is in the bio. All these people in the LLB. I also did LLB, guys. You need to find your way. Sometimes it's tough when you have an LLB to find your way, because everyone's like being an attorney and all these things, law firms, partners, associates. But it doesn't have to be like that. Look, I also did it, and I'm hosting this live. So yeah. So anyway, much love. Pax King, much love to you. Noxy, much love. Yes, Coach Dineo, our dreams are valid. Thank you, Diale. Thank you, Homos, for the feedback. User 838. Much love to everyone. Let's do this again tomorrow, guys. Or DA631 LOB. Hey, guys, LOB people. I don't know if we were supposed to do LOB, but maybe because our minds are like, they just said do this LOB. Sometimes some of us just love talking and literature and history and whatever. So maybe that's why we did LB. But I know LB people have got much more to give. Look at the billionaires, the richest people in this country. Ramaphosa's got LLB. Motsepe's got LLB. LLB, man. So guys, much love, man. Lawyers doing the most. Yes, Mr. Chilizi, we need LB people to guide the nation. So true, so true, so true. And yes, we love suits. So, guys, anyway, our dreams are valid, guys. Let's push. Let's keep on going. Yeah, LB is diverse. That's so true, man. And again, it's not one frame of mind. It's many things. Cheers, guys. See you tomorrow.